how's it going? Today I am going to be sharing with you some of the craziest gangster stuff that I've seen landlords doing for them to be able to evict people. Like I did say, it is gangster. So do not try these guerrilla moves at home. But what are these guerrilla moves? And when tenants are not paying, there is so many things that I have seen landlords doing. Today, I want to share with you some of these things in the hope that you do not do these things because they are not allowed. There is a certain way that you can or are allowed in terms of evicting your tenants. There's the right way and there is the wrong way. Let me share with you some of these wrong things that you've been doing to evict some of your tenants. Number one, I have seen this in real life. I have seen a landlord bringing in his cousin brothers and cousin sisters, the ones that are a little bit bigger, and then they ask them to move into a property where they have a tenant and this tenant is refusing to pay rent. Well, whether they can afford to pay rent or whether they are refusing to pay rent, that's another discussion for another day. But for real, bringing in your relatives so that they can stay there. The one time I saw this, literally it was a 3-bedroom and 1 bathroom that I saw. A guy, should I say the landlord, brought in 6 of his relatives to go and sleep within the same property where his tenants was. And all he said was that, well, you haven't been paying rent and my relatives are wanting to stay there. Do not do that. It's a guerrilla move. Yeah. Well, let's jump on to number 2. Number 2, I have seen a lot of people doing this. Yes. What is it? It's a guerrilla move that a lot of landlords use in terms of them wanting to evict a tenant, right? So whether the tenant is paying or not, we said that's another conversation. But I've also seen landlords literally removing doors or windows in the thinking, or should I say, they present the fact that we are doing renovations. So you got a tenant in your property, and basically now you come in on the other side and you say you're starting renovations and you take the door away. When you take the door away, you take it literally away and put it in your buggy and go somewhere else. Or you go and smash the windows so that all the windows are open. I have seen this. This video is all about do not do these guerrilla moves. That's what I'm talking about. These are the things that you should not do to evict someone. There is the right way. The right way I am going to be sharing with you. But ladies and gentlemen, I am sure in your area you have already seen some people doing some crazy guerrilla stuff. Or maybe you yourself has been done a guerrilla move to be evicted. In the comments, let me know. I am on number 2 of 7 of the guerrilla moves that you can do to remove your tenant illegally. Don't try this at home, right? How about number 3, switching off the water? So you go to the mains and then you switch the water out, right? Turn it off, and then you put a clamp on it and you lock it, and then whoop, you leave. I have seen many landlords doing that. You are not allowed by law to do that. Well, they are using my water, so I can do that. If they are using your water, what is the solution? Maybe get a prepaid meter, put it there, force them to buy prepaid meter from you. I did say that. That was point number 3. The point number 3, which is the guerrilla moves that you should not do in terms of evicting your tenant. There is the right way, right? Number 4, we have all seen. There are those guys, those guys, yes, whose chest is like that, right? And whose thigh looks like their arm. So their arm here looks like my thigh, like this, like that. The bouncers, I'm talking about the bouncers, man. I ain't a bouncer. I will never threaten anyone. I don't think my own kids don't even, the cat that we have in the house doesn't even feel threatened when I look at it. Now you bring in bouncers to your property where a tenant is refusing, and these bouncers linger around to try to intimidate. They don't even say anything. I have seen this. Do not try it. Don't do it, because it might just work against your favor. But that is number 4. I have seen bouncers just walking around. Point number 5. Some people actually have the courage to go and literally remove furniture off the tenant by yourself. You take the furniture out, whoop, you throw it outside. Guess what happened at one point? So they took the furniture out, and the tenant said, I had 50,000 in my house, and that 50,000 has disappeared. Oh, what are you gonna do? Now they are reporting it's a theft, and you have taken out this furniture. Oh, never mind about the taking of the furniture. Now there's a 50,000. It's a guerrilla tactic that you should not use to remove your tenants. There is good ways in which you can evict. Maybe it's not even about eviction, but let me jump on to number 6. This is fascinating. I have seen number 6 in so many ways, but you know that where you have tenants, those tenants that have a screen in front of them, like guys like me who own buildings, so you got a screen there outside. I have seen the landlord literally going into the property and then put a chain on there, and then they lock it, or they change the key. Yes, I have seen that. These are some of the guerrilla moves that you shouldn't try to do. Don't do this in your buildings. Don't do this at home. Yes. Now, the last one that I'm going to speak to, but it is the last one on my list. I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you a bonus, right? The last one that I'm going to be talking about is, I think a lot of people do this all the time, and they think that it is allowed. Switching off of electricity. So they go out into their tenants and they switch off electricity at the time of them wanting to cook, and then they switch off the electricity. So they haven't paid me rent, so I'll switch off the electricity in the hope that you're going to evict them. What is the bonus one that I do have? A bonus one that I do have for you is, I've also seen, yes, I have also seen, drum roll for the bonus, I have seen people who do not vet their tenants when they are coming in, who do not have contracts when they are coming in. Now, that's also a guerrilla move, and that is not allowed, and that's not cool. What you need to be doing when you've got tenants by you, before you are reported to the rent tribunal, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. Me and my legal team, we've been to the tribunal court a couple of times. Yeah. So all of these guerrilla moves that I'm talking about, I have seen it, right? Because I was there and I was listening to the stories that was happening. So how do you make sure that when you've got a tenant, you are never going to do any of these guerrilla moves? Ladies and gentlemen, if you know of any other guerrilla moves, let me know in the comments. What have you seen? Is it a funny one? Is it hard? Or maybe it has happened to you. Now, if you are one of those people that now own a property, right? What do you need to do to have a tenant? Number 1, you need to vet. Number 2, you need to have a contract. And then number 3, go through and find out how best in your contract can you already evict lightly. But I know of another product that is called the Xpello. And the Xpello, they've got a cool product where they can you can pay them a small amount of money, And by the time you need to evict, you just call on them, say, hello, please can you evict for me? And they will evict for you. Easy, right? So why am I giving you this information of not to do the guerrilla moves or not to do the eviction that is illegal? Number one, you can end up in jail. Number two, you can be called upon the rental tribunal. Number three, you are making the situation worse between you and your tenant. Number four, the courts might be in favor of your tenant when you're doing all of these guerrilla moves. Number five, you don't want to have a tenant that you have evicted illegally being at your place, and now you want to do it the right way. It's just going to end in tears for you as a landlord. And then the last point is, whilst this tenant is in your property, they might not pay rent. Whilst they're in the property, you're going to lose money because you're not getting the rent. So do not do this guerrilla moves. It is I, your uncle, speaking. It is I, your uncle in property, that is speaking about these things. We've been managing over 200 stands. We've been managing over 200 tenants across the country. I know what I'm talking about. But I know you can do it. If you don't know how to do this, well, maybe you need to come to class. As a 2022, this is something that you can say, well, I want to learn to do it and I'll do it properly. It is I, your boy. We will check you on the next video.